Hey crafty friends, it's Lynn QV with Playing with Paper and Glue. Let's make a journal cover from Amazon packaging. So we all have some of that, right? What I did is just measured the packing envelope and allowed a little bit extra because you can always take some off, but you can't add some once you start gluing it. So here I'm just making sure that the curvature is good. I did bend that piece, but I want it kind of rounded, not with a real stark, sharp crease. So getting the glue all on one side. I have a problem, because I'm still pretty new at this, with getting the center to stick and be tight. I usually end up with a gap. So here I just did one side at a time and made sure that everything was lying nice and flat before I went on to the second half. So this is the inside. And just making sure that glue is all the way to all the edges. Using my brayer to help me really get it, get good contact. Checking it out. I get that last corner there, and then I can get the rest of the inside. Molding and bending. And personally, I think if I would just use a little more glue at the beginning, it's not that I'm stingy with the glue. For one thing, I'd have a hard time getting the glue to come out. It seems like it's always gumming up. But I think in a case like this, my advice would be a little bit more is better. Some on my 3D sculptures, sometimes less is more, but here I think you do need a good amount of glue. I'm using my little silicone makeup brush to spread that out. Make sure I'm facing the correct direction, because that's another little beginner error that I make sometimes. Making sure I have excellent contact from end to end, edge to edge, and in that center area where the curve is. Isn't this paper beautiful? This one is Fairy Wings from Graphic 45. Now see that, to me, I think now that is good coverage on the glue. I'm still going to spread it out. And sometimes I just use my finger. Depends on how much glue I've got going on. But these little silicone makeup brushes really work nicely. Exciting, right? And if you get a little bit of glue spillage, you can always just wipe it off. I use a couple of different tools for pressing. I like my little Cricut doodads. Here I'm just going to trim off that overhang. Like I said, you can always take this off. But if I made it a little bit shorter or thought it was exact and it ended up being shorter, well, And then I've got Amazon packaging showing. Okay, now I'm just going to go around and see if there's any edges that aren't quite glued down. Grab a little bit extra glue on a scrap piece of paper. I would call myself meticulous. There's a couple other names for it. But I know if you're a recovering perfectionist like me, then you like to be meticulous. Okay, so then I took it to the sewing machine and I did this really cool stitch, which you can hardly see on the video, but it's kind of a little flower design. And I used blue thread under at the bobbin and pink thread on top, and it looks pretty cool.